Right. I mean, that's
somebody
showing
that's
the
already
equitable.
went through something to,
Right. Well, that's, that will be similar to some extent. Mhm.
this one did not check liable for payment of real property taxes. It is.
That's what I'm saying, they have that set up in some type of trust or something there that's paying that out. How's that one being done there?
We can check.
Yeah. We need to show, I mean,
Where you gonna look to?
Just go to, thank you. Look at the parcel.
getting this one for parcel. This one here didn't have the possession of, as you can see.
To Laclede County Clerk. I just went around, yeah.
Wants to check, make sure the website's up and running?
Yeah.
There you go.
Name of the deceased.
And do you know who this is?
I
No.
know, yeah, we can do this.
Well, I think that was
Are they
funded
married?
by us, and they call it.
Oh, and that may be, because
That date anyway.
2/29/25. When was this here?
I'm just saying in a court of law, she's legal.
What you got
She's
here?
a legal tie.
Okay,
That's saying.
same exact thing, but. Let's see something else on there. You know what it comes to do off of her death. So she still has a year to get it until. Well, I mean,
That's just
even
not
though it
common.
states on there, you still have to go back to.
Politely respectfully said she wasn't uncommon.
Oh, I'm just thinking
I'm
things.
being polite.
Yes, you were, yes, you were.
I mean that since.
I don't know why that one shouldn't be approved, guys, on
That's-
on that one.
Yeah,
I said in a court of law, that one, which is what you're discussing, that's an automatic.
I think this one.
Legal assignment.
That's what I'm saying.
On the back side of that, we have an initial down there where we say approved, some of those.
Oh, down here?
When we haven't done them, this is you know, in a stack, maybe just right here, why don't we put approved?
Before I initial this, what, did I miss something?
So.
What makes this one automatic?
Well, so in this case, the deceased is listed on the deed, the surviving spouse is not listed on the deed. The surviving spouse, has, they live on, meet the age requirement, they occupy the home, I assume now they'll be liable for taxes on the home,
That's what I
okay?
was asking.
And then will they be the owner of the home? So, but they are, you know, so if we need a copy of a marriage license or something like that, but I don't think that would be the case. But that was another one, was just flagged, sent over for commission review.
It's like, how would you not, here, my question would be, how would you not qualify equitable rights when you're married? That's a legal decision that's pre-made.
This is what I was asking, is she on the taxes, does she have that equitable interest, you know what I mean?
Well, would that be the same thing we're
That's
talking
what-
about
That's
here?
why I
Here
had-
then,
Like
yeah.
That's what I'm
passed
saying.
Mm-hmm.
over there.
Because that gets that equitable interest part.
process of purchasing.
So,
So,
but here's the deal, he didn't have, she
well,
still
and
has.
this is different,
Mhm.
process of purchasing.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, that there does not, it needs to hold,
Yeah.
cause I'm saying he did not own it or have the possession of,
Correct.
so that one's to reapply later next year, in my opinion.
I'm going to agree with that, just off that, right there.
That one, I've seen property taxes paid, it's gotta be.
Makes a big deal.
Oh, it's under a
It's
different
in-
name,
Yeah,
no, it's under, I just seen this here.
Is-
Owned by or held possession on January 1st, 25. 2026.
Mhm. Yeah,
Take the CMAX.
so that's where, that one,
it's not under him,
Well, it is just all personal property,
oh, so it's a trust probably.
that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
If I look
so
at.
we're gonna initial here on the no, on this one.
Last
Yeah,
name.
I'll initially.
Okay. Okay,
And get rid of her first.
well, I put it under his name.
Or right in the reason why.
Get rid of that, okay, and then just put,
Search.
okay,
Mhm.
Is there a trust there?
there's a,
That's it.
yeah, that's it right there.
And then if you look at.
16.
Maybe this one and that one.
No, different parcel number. It's a different part number, or parcel number, part number. 16, that's a different.
Hit that one anyway.
Hit that one.
Mhm. I remember hearing that.
You look this one up.
I remember seeing this one as part of the problem whenever, I couldn't find it,
Okay,
and Mike was out there and she helped me, and we ended up with that.
okay.
But that's the right number. Okay, so let's see this.
Okay. What else have we got?
We're still holding on this one and that other one there that are very similar to each other there. Because if this one does, then that one should, if you have the right findings in there.
Right now, we're struggling finding something on that one.
Mhm. Yes, if you find it's where the taxes are paid and all that, it's that equitable.
So you just want a marriage license? I mean, that's probably gonna be maybe a quick thing for her, I
I'm
don't know.
gonna put that part. Mhm. Yep. That's the deal there, I would have to let these other two gentlemen make more of that decision because of knowing the deceased pretty much my whole life and knowing her also and going to church and all of that, so. Yeah.
same circumstances.
Was that and that was a renewal, wasn't it? Looked like.
This one here, yeah.
How long did we keep this one? How long did we keep this one? Was it last year?
It would have been, yeah, I believe it was right toward the end of the year. Yeah, I believe so.
Still working stuff out.
So.
So Joe, you gonna, just be present on that one then, is that what you're saying?
This one.
On this one here?
On that
Okay.
one, yeah.
Okay. you do. Okay.
Because there is somebody else besides my mama that hugs me on Sunday mornings,
Okay.
so. So yeah, I think I would just feel better, you know,
There's not, I don't have enough information on that one, at this point, I don't find any tax records on it, so it must be in trust. Okay, so we have two that are calls to make, decisions to be made, and we've made our decisions, okay? So I'll get all those, and we have two over here that need a little more, research. You mentioned you had,
Those other two don't,
which ones is that?
those two was needing research.
No, this is the one they need to determine if they want two parcels and which one. And then this is the one that, has been approved based upon information we have.
Okay.
yeah. This one didn't qualify because of the ownership of anything at the time. So,
Okay. All right, wow, that's, yeah, Michael.
we done well.
I'm not gonna call her and tell her.
No,
Okay.
no, don't do that.
All right, so, anything else?
Don't believe I have at this time.
Okay, Erik, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, meeting next Tuesday, and Randy, I'm gonna call on you here in just a second, okay?
Okay.
I do have, I did receive another application for the road and bridge foreman position. And then I had another, applicant come in for, maybe a, more mark.
Good morning.
He didn't come through here. No.
Well, then he must still be in here.
Are you just visiting or do you need?
Oh, no, I'm just
Okay.
curious.
Just up stretching legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the vacant position, and I don't really want to use that word vacant, that was filled by the commission assistant. I think we're doing well with what we currently have there, and that could even be expanded a little bit. Typically, there's been maybe 8 to 14 hours a week, maybe. And I think, the skill set that we need for that office is being fulfilled. And I think the individual is willing to work additional hours if needed. And not full-time, but additional hours. And with that, and with what Mike has been doing, I don't think we need to fill that position full-time at this point. And I had an application for that, so, if anybody inquires about that, personally, I don't see any reason why we need to fill that position. Maintenance is helping pick up the, postage duties, that's going well. So by splitting up some of those duties into one big part and two smaller parts, I think things are working well for that. And then, once a road and bridge foreman's hired, then I think we reconsider that position there, depending on what the criteria is established and the expectation. But until then, I don't see any need to, create a full, bring back a full-time position.
We don't have that listed or open for that.
No, I just had
Yeah,
it.
for an open position at that, okay.
No, I just had an application and I won't, if somebody drops off an application,
Sure.
fine, but,
Yep.
but I just wanna put that out there, so. All right, and then I do have one for, Road and Bridge, if we wanna take care of business here, Randy, I'll give you the floor again.
Okay. Joe, I would just like to have that further discussion if we can in reference to the bid. I do represent and have power of attorney for the high bidder and the second bidder below that, which are almost twice as high as everybody else coming in. And, I do have a situation where I thought that would do it, and she thought would do it. And, we have a transport person, ready to move that out of here. It will be going to a couple college kids, and, I'd like to have that discussion as to why that can't happen today.
Well, I'm not saying it can't happen today, Randy.
I mean, I don't know what you,
For me, I was expecting more. I feel like it's potentially to the right person. We could get more for that trailer. That's why I nodded my head yes on tabling that with that in mind.
So here's what I would say, and this has been procedure, at least since I've been here. We do have the right to refuse or reject any or all bids, okay? But then if we do that, then are we gonna put it back out for bid? And so I think that's really the question, if we're gonna table it, for more discussion, if we're gonna make that decision today, it needs to be made at this table, as this body. If we're not going to make that decision today, and we're gonna say table it, then we need to put it on next week's agenda. And then, either prior to that or at that meeting, then either make the decision if we don't make it today, or we just reject the bids and then we either continue to own it or we put it out for bids. But if the decision is gonna be made today, then we need to stay here around this table until that decision's made. If the decision is made other than to table it right now, as the motion stands and was passed, it was tabled. So that's where we're at right now. But if we are going to maybe rescind those motions and that votes to Robert's Rules of Orders or whatever, we can certainly do that. But we need to do it around this table, or we need to do it when we meet again. Or we don't do anything. It stands as tabled, all bids were rejected. Possibly, although that wasn't the motion. The motion was just to table the bids for review. So.
on the record, I do agree with you that if everything was in working order, and if you were guaranteeing that the water lines aren't busted and the sewer's not busted and all that, then I feel, yes, it would be worth more money than what my wife has offered. Totally agree. But I think you don't know that. I don't. It's been in my warehouse for 10 years, hasn't moved. Richard Wrinkle took it out a couple times and that's it. And then after he was finished, I did put some labor involved in winterizing it at that time, but it doesn't have any pink stuff in it now. So that tells me that could be a problem. So, but I want you to know, I do agree, if everything's in working order, it would be. But there's a big gamble out there, and,
I think
And I
Mark
wanted to take
Gregory
that.
hauled it in here, didn't you, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
initially.
Is that what you're talking about, the RV out there?
Yeah.
What were the bids on that?
Well,
High,
it
two
was,
highs.
we had, 1,500, 2970, 850, 3095, and 1502. So the high bid was 3095, low bid was 850, and some in between.
Okay, I'm one of those in between.
Didn't even, yeah. Like I said, I didn't even look at names.
Maybe I didn't
just-
even look at names, I just looked for the amounts.
Well, I don't care really, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know, I've never seen anything like that done in a commission meeting in 13 years. You
It's
know,
a new
when you,
commission.
when you put it out for bid, you know, you take a gamble as well, you
Mhm.
know.
Absolutely.
You know, I thought maybe there was something wrong with it, you were saying there's a title issue or something, that's what I thought. You had a document there.
It was some stuff I pulled up off of that particular, using the serial numbers and stuff like that, would give me some information on it, so I can make a better judgment call, myself personally.
But without a reserve, Joe, I just don't think that's right, to be honest with you.
Well,
For that
let's-
reason,
At
for
this,
your
at
reason.
this time, I did call for a motion to table. And as far as my reasoning, it is my reasoning, individuals, everybody has their right to their own reasonings. And I'll respect that.
I'm not second guessing, but I'm trying to make it happen or not happen today.
Right.
Because I have a situation,
Yeah.
you know, that I need it, if I'm gonna get it.
Right.
Actually, my power of attorney did it.
So, yeah, so it was tabled so I can make a little bit more, like I said, where I can cross-reference some stuff, what I had gotten printed off first. And I will do that a little bit later, and then we can go from there.
So you're not just making a decision right now?
Not right now, it was tabled.
So then it would come back, for, it's either tabled for, I'll accept your reason given, it was tabled, but if we're gonna bring it back up, then it'll go on next week's agenda, and if we're not gonna bring it back up, then we're just gonna reject by another vote, we can reject all bids.
But you don't bring it back up on next week's to go ahead and accept? That's what we're doing?
No,
No.
we could do that, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, we could, but what I'm hearing is, as part of the discussion, just trying to be a good listener, is it's tabled, that's where it stands right now, unless that changes. So then, if we're not gonna make a decision today, then the answer to, the successful bidder would be, it will be on next week's agenda, or not. The agenda hasn't been published yet, but the individual would like an answer, are we gonna do anything different today than table? Right now, it stands tabled, and that's the decision.
And there I am only one on this body, so if the other two would like to have the discussion and get it finalized today, then they need to speak for themselves.
Unless there's, any other motions made, it stands tabled, so, unless I hear another motion, it stands tabled. And I'm not hearing that motion, so, I think, yes, sir.
I will pull those two bids, please. Bid number one, bid number two, if we can't do it today. I just can't make it happen.
Okay.
So, can I get my bids back, Linda?
We're just gonna put, decline to bid.
Sorry, guys, I had it set up to move and I gave twice what the next bidder offered, and that didn't work, so.
So you're saying you do what the other bidders was bidding? Is Is that your?
No,
that's
after
your
it was
reason?
open, after it was open.
Yeah, after it was open, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd already set up to go ahead and have something done, not knowing whether you was gonna have it or not, so you had a guy on standby regardless.
You're right.
Yes, sir. Cause the unforeseen circumstances, you don't know for sure how to plan for something, you're just trying to make a plan, so. You bet.
I felt through experience that it would probably be the highest bid, and it was.
And it was, yeah.
You know, but I didn't know that you were gonna do what you did.
No additions.
Okay. Okay, you gonna give that back to me, or are you gonna?
Do you want a copy?
Yeah.
I need to keep them as a.
Okay,
kind
yeah,
because
that's
they're-
fine. You bet.
We'll just hit the pause button until Linda gets back.
Anything else for me?
Good, so?
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Grader got delivered,
Do what?
the grader? got
Okay,
delivered.
good, good deal. Good deal, maybe that'll turn out a good job.
You bet.
Do you have anything on that BC four? I we had a repair on BC five too.
Yeah, what I got there, and that's what we were talking, I was a little bit confused with what you were saying there. Everything that is
Maybe
there
I'm-
right now.
Maybe I'm confused too.
Yeah, because I seen here.
The most recent one I had on
There's
that
one
I
that's
seen.
2.5 gallon right there, putting this one,
Yeah,
but that was back 23.
no.
Well, I
we
haven't
just-
seen
we
the
just
one
paid
you're
an
talking
invoice
about.
The other day.
Yeah, all of this here is on 25, the one that's, or number 5, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's in there right now, which is what,
So is this on number 5?
yes, all of this is
Okay,
number 5.
okay, the one that I was referring to was no,
And this is the one that's in there now that they're asking
BC four.
to go ahead and repair. It's there at their shop.
Okay,
That's where I was getting confused, I guess,
okay,
because I had all this stuff here already going, I don't have anything on 4.
okay. We just paid that invoice.
Okay.
And that's the one I was questioning. The reason why I was questioning it was like the only, item found that caused it to go to service was it was, 3 gallons low on coolant. So then my mind immediately jumped to, okay, as we're getting into the machines, as I set on my lawnmowers at home, I don't check them every time for oil, but I do check them for oil, cause my grandsons drive those most of the time. And I fill them with gas too.
Right.
Okay, so it just it just begged the question, what kind of maintenance do we expect an operator to do, before they start out in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're low 3 gallons, maybe those things hold 30 gallon, but it went to the shop because it was overheating,
Mm-hmm.
and we were 3 gallon low, and I'm
Right.
like, gosh, why weren't we checking the reservoir if it has one, or why weren't we?
I did speak to our mechanic on that and everything,
Okay.
and being brush cutter 4, that is our standby, that is our
Right.
go-to when something else
Okay.
happens, and everything. And he said that it was having an overheating problem. He had changed the hydraulic filters and fluid and stuff there.
Okay,
Didn't solve that, still had that problem of overheating. It turned out being the oil cooler is what it turned out being on brush cutter 4. Now, this was after it had already went to, John Deere, where you're saying that the 3 gallon was.
okay,
He didn't realize the 3 gallons, I was asking him about it.
okay,
And he said it doesn't make sense because, he said, I even checked that machine.
okay. Then maybe maybe our mechanic and John Deere need to have a conversation
Mhm.
then, because we've got a $500 and some invoice on that, for 3 gallons of, I'll say, coolant. and if we've been looking at it,
Mhm. Right,
meaning if we've been looking at it in our shop, and if it's been to their shop and it comes back and we're low 3 gallons,
the road 3 gallons again, then, yeah.
then do we need to have a conversation? What are we doing in-house? And how do those notes?
And out in the field, like you said.
And out in the field, yeah, because I assume that it would be incumbent upon the operator to kind of do a checklist, if you would.
PM check.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's what
Not from a service standpoint, but just as a routine practice, that I'm gonna check my fluid levels. Do you check them every day? Probably not. But according to the invoice, there was no leaks found. So I don't know. And then that even begs the question, because I'm not a mechanic, how do you lose 3
Without
gallons
having
of coolant
something.
and not have a leak?
Right.
You know, so then that begs the question, was it in for service and it just wasn't filled back up? Did we change something in it and we didn't fill, I mean, it just, there's too many unanswered questions there
Absolutely.
that I can't explain.
Mhm.
All right, so I have one application for Road and Bridge, if you want to look at that today. If not, I can hold it till next week that we get more, but I do have one.
Oh, no, I'd like to see it.
Okay,
So open closed session.
okay. Anytime we talk about personnel, then it's, Mark, you have anything else for us?
What did the little trailer go for?
A 1025, I think, Mark.
I think that's right.
Yeah, 1025.
And what were the bids on that big one? You know, apparently a couple have been rescinded.
Yeah, so remaining bids
Yes.
are 1,500, 1,500, 850, and 1,502.
Okay. And we're still undecided on whether to let it go for anything.
Yeah, right now, Mark, that's been tabled, we'll put it back on. I'm gonna say all those bids will be rejected, we'll put it back out for bid.
Okay.
But that's not been decided.
Right, yeah, well, I
Okay.
understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I say, it's still undecided yet.
yeah,
Okay.
it's tabled, and more than likely, we'll reject all the bids that remain, and we'll put it back out for bid.
Give it a shot again.
That's what it sounds like.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, if you wanna review the job application, then I would entertain a motion to enter closed session. I don't need a,
I'm gonna make a motion to go into closed session for personnel.
I would second that motion.
motion second to enter closed session for personnel reasons. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote on it.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes.